my students actually doing their final project, and I apologize, I think it's under maybe video. I think this is it. And this semester, I gave my students an option. I think this is it right here. I gave my students an option. I said, you know, you can either come into the amphitheater and give your presentation in the amphitheater, or if you want to create your own environment, then we'd be happy to come to your own environment that you create. And I had one group create their own environment on Second Life Island. They had a little platform, and this is what it ended up looking like.
Hi, we're the Risk Management Solution Team, and this is our presentation on virtual environments. For this project, we have looked at basic information of 4 virtual meeting spaces: Second Life, VenueGen, GoToMeeting, and Microsoft Link. All 4 of these environments have much to offer, as long as we acknowledge the potential risks that virtual teams may have. A virtual team in itself can be considered project management risk. A variety of problems can occur in these situations. For example, praise from a team leader within a virtual environment is seen by all team members, as opposed to a face-to-face, one-on-one meeting in which a team member is given praise. In my article, Strengthening Identification with the Team and Virtual Teams, the Leader's Perspective, the author states that this might be especially critical in virtual teams, where the team members cannot see each other very often because of the geographical distance, and the successes of the team may remain unnoticed. Education barriers, proper research in choosing a virtual environment, and hardware.
So that gives you an idea to actually see what it looks like for a student team to give a presentation. They had their own little platform right here, and the audience, they had set chairs out on the platform. As you can see, it's overlooking the ocean on MTSU Island, very pleasant environment. All their avatars dressed up in their business suits, had their bling on. They were very professional. A couple of benefits to this type of presentation, and it didn't show there on that little snippet, but you have a chat box. So if somebody has questions, they can submit questions to the little chat box, and then that can be either addressed later or even during the presentation if one of the team members feel like it would be good to interject an answer to that question during that time. Another benefit, this is probably the biggest benefit, is that in the face-to-face presentations, I always find it awkward to hold up a sign or something that says you have 5 minutes left, because I'm very particular about the time. We have so many presentations and only so much time. I can talk to each person individually without the rest of the class seeing it. So when the person speaking only has maybe 5 minutes left, I can just let them know alone that they have 5 minutes left without distracting the rest of the audience in any way. So that's a nice feature as well. And the virtual class meeting, let me just share some pictures with you of the virtual class meeting. This was before class. They like to bring their coats with them. They like to stand outside and kind of talk a little bit before class starts. Here is before class. This is in the MTSU amphitheater. And the dragon that you see, that is Omadon Thexton. In real life, he is a project manager and was also in the military. He was a Marine. It's very interesting to see him in class face to face, very on task, very detail oriented. And then you put him in second life. He's a dragon. Yeah. But now he will come up, before class he would be a dragon, and then when he would come to class, he would go back to being like a human avatar. Interesting character. So he's just looking at the discussion questions right before class. This is before we started. Here's my class with the raccoon and the robot. That was this year. And this is in the amphitheater. I also have a little tool that can take attendance. So I drag a little tool down, and it scans the area, and it puts it in the message box of who all is there. So I can just real quickly take attendance and then send them on their way. So that's one of the things that we do when we first meet in the amphitheater. Group breakout sessions. One thing I like to do when they break out into their groups and they're working on their documents, I like to take that time to go around to each group individually and just communicate with them, touch base with them. Here's one group, they're working on their document, and they are in the KOM building. Afterwards, sometimes, like I said, we go back to the amphitheater and they discuss their answers to the questions. Sometimes I like to take them to other islands. This is ISTE Island, and I love this island because it's actually an island that lets you res prems on it. So I can go to this island and I can put, this is my meeting, I can give you this as well. This is like a little meeting table. It automatically adds an additional chair, so however many people are meeting, it can add or go back smaller. Yeah. And then here's the discussion board. You can see the shared media prems and all the classes sitting around discussing the round table, and there's my avatar over there. And so sometimes we just like to mix it up a little bit on what we do after the breakout sessions. And another place I like to go is the International Schools Island. International Schools Island. If you go to the top of the mountain, they have what's called a shambles pad. So for example, and where all students, they can get color coded of who they are, and then they participate by typing on a notepad. So let me give you an example. One night it was all about taking budget data, schedule data, and deciding if a project should be halted or not. So each group was individually given this data. They were broke out into their groups. They decided, they made some assumptions about what was going on with the project, and they decided whether they should halt it or not. So then we meet at International Schools Island, and in the shambles pad, it's like, okay, now tell me, what did you guys decide? So everybody participates and said, oh, we decided to halt the project. We decided to continue with the project. Well, why? And they all share their reasons on the shambles pad. So sometimes I like to mix it up a little bit after they'd have their breakout sessions. And ISTE Island and International Schools Island are two places that are academic focused and more safe places to be. And at the end, I'm flying our mascot back home. And I can give you a Pegasus too. We just don't have a name for him yet. I guess that's probably one of the things that we should discuss in this class. We should go to the shambles pad and write down, brainstorm ideas for the name of our Pegasus mascot. And that is it. I don't know if we have internet connection or not, but I'd just like to open it up for any questions. Is it working? Okay. Excellent. We have about 15 minutes. It's not a lot of time. I don't know how much time you want to take. Let me go ahead and get back into it.
Let me ask you this. Yes. I mean, I've never done, I've told you I've never done this before. So the first thing you do is, if you just want to start, you go into second line, get an arbiter, and then is there kind of like a tutorial that can kind of walk you through the different things you can do?
I have a tutorial I have them do, and I recommend that they go to the New Media, I believe it's the New Media Consortium Island, and do a walkthrough tutorial, and then there's also a tutorial on MTSU Island in the student union. So there's also a tutorial in the student union they can go through as well.
So you go also when I sign up, I can go into MTSU Island and then go look for that tutorial, the union build.
Yes. And if you like, send me an email and I can give you the document with the links on it.
Okay.
for where you can go to MTSU Island and a link to, for example, the classroom, and a link to some of the other places I have them go where there's some good tutorials.
If you want to switch computers to the main computer, that one has the update on it.
Does that have the update on it?
Mm-hmm.
Let me do that. I don't have, I wanted to send this link. Before I switch over to the other computer, I want to share the videos with you. If you want to look at a video, you don't really need the autoplay. But if you want to play a video from YouTube and you don't want to see like all the advertisements and the other videos around it so that it's only the video that shows up, the full screen doesn't always work that well. What I found works really well is if you create a link and put it in a Word document, you can, right after